In this video, I'm going to show you how to attach one piece of fabric to another piece using either the whip stitch or the running stitch. Depending on how you want your piece to look, you can choose either one. So I've got my needle threaded and knotted, and I've got some straight pins, and I'm going to sew this eye that I showed you how to do in the last video onto this piece of yellow fabric. Now you can use, I'm using the blue thread to give a little contrast with my stitching. My stitching can actually be a form of art rather than just a function of sewing. If you want the stitches to be shown, you can use white thread. I want to add a little pop of color. So the first thing I want to do is pin this in place. You don't want to try to sew something in place, because as you're sewing, it can move around and you can end up with your piece sewed on in some position that you don't want. So I'm going to position it. I'm going to take a straight pin and I'm going to push it into the fabric and back out. So this is a small piece, so I think just 2 straight pins will work. One at the top and one at the bottom. And now I'm going to start. So I'm holding my thread like this, so the thread doesn't pull out of the needle, and I want to start on the back, of course. So I'm going to show you a whip stitch first. I'm going to come up just on the edge of my white felt, and I'm just going to go around and use my thumb as a brace to push the needle through. And again, don't pull real tight because we don't want to squish and scrunch up the fabric. So I can do a whip stitch. I can do this all the way around, or I can do a running stitch. And the running stitch, I kind of like the whip stitch for this. It goes faster, but I will show you the running stitch. So I could continue to do that, or I can do a running stitch. And again, you want to keep your stitches fairly close together. You don't want big gaps in between the stitches. It's just not, it's not a clean look. And once you get past the point where this area is sewn down, sewn in place, you can take the pin out. And I can just continue around. So you can use, again, you can use thread that will end in, or thread that will complement the color, depending on the color. So I would just continue all the way around. When I get to the end, remember, I want to end on the back. I should end right next to that knot. And you know what? I'll just finish this for you. And now that you guys are learning all these skills, you have a button that pops off your clothing, or if you have maybe a hem on a pair of jeans or something that comes out, you could help your parents fixing. Say, hey, I know how to do that. I know how to do that. I can fix that. And I bet your parents will be very grateful. I'm checking the back. I don't have any thread bunched up here or knotted or tangled. That's important too, because you don't want to waste your thread. And I can take this pin out, and I'm just about done. When I get to the end, well, look, I'm going to end on the back. Always end on the back. If this happens, just use your finger, clear it. So I'm on the back. I'm going to pull my needle out. I'm going to cut to a length that's manageable, and I'm going to tie my loop knot, a couple of them, put my fingernail right in place, right where I want that knot, and pull. And I'll do that twice, and then I'll cut. And there you go. Done.